Quadrille, a romantic play.
This cast is very funny.
Story and script by Melinda Kearing, directed by Stephen Foreman.
As it says in the play, they turn the so very simple into the so very complicated.
Quadrille is a delicious tale featuring romance, secret plots, good food, bad food, heroic duels, and plenty of perfectly prepared corn muffins.
I do hope everyone comes out to the Greenbelt Art Center to see Quadrille, and you will get a marvelous story told by an amazing cast.
Runs January 3rd through the 19th at Greenbelt Art Center. Fridays and Saturdays at 8 p.m., Sundays at 2 p.m., with one Thursday performance on January 16th at 8 p.m. For tickets and information, please go to www.greenbeltartscenter.org. Come and see the show.
So Governor Larry Hogan and Comptroller Peter Franchot have decided against widening the Beltway and are now focusing instead on 270.
Yeah, and instead of saying against, period, the announcement was more of a for now. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to look at that for now. Mm-hmm. So it's off the table, and that's good. So essentially there's a period there, but I wanted to make sure that the door was left open a little bit. But that's right, they're going to focus on I-270. Which, so a couple things, that's happy for us here because it doesn't mean any Greenbelt property, any homeowner's property or whatever that may have been taken to widen. Now that's off the table for now, it's not an issue. They say the same thing about I-270, that they're not going to take property, but they're going to just add toll lanes. Is what the announcement was.
Right. I found it kind of interesting that there's going to be a revenue sharing between Montgomery County and Prince George's County from those lanes, they say, right? Yeah.
I hope, yeah. Or yes, that is interesting, since I-270 really isn't in Prince George's.
At all.
But yeah, so that, and then the one other thing about that article, again, has nothing to do with us, but the goal of a new American Legion Bridge.
That's big. That's a huge project, right? Yeah.
That's huge, and that's one of the challenges. I think any city that straddles a river, those are always the choke points. You know, the Woodrow Wilson Bridge used to be so horrible until, whenever a decade ago or more they replaced it, and it's much better now. But so that little piece, I thought, wow, when's that going to happen, and what'll that be like?
Exactly. So next we have a feature story on Green Ridge House, which is senior housing here in Greenbelt.
Yeah, and this isn't news in the sense that something's happening, something's different, something's new, but this is the institution, Green Ridge House. The building is owned by the city of Greenbelt. Most of it, or 2/3 of its revenue, come from HUD. It's HUD Section 8, Title 8 funding. It's for people age 62 and over can apply to live there, as well as people who are disabled, certain disabilities. You can also apply to live there. Right. So yeah, one of our reporters just went and talked to some people, met some of the residents, and just kind of got a look around to see. I've only been in Greenbelt, I guess, about 3 years, and I live on Ridge Road. I know I walk by it all the time, but I really was not sure exactly what they do and what it was about. So apparently it's a fairly nice place, a very nice place. It has 101 apartments. There's all kinds of amenities for the residents. Basically, aging in place.
Right.
That was sort of the key phrase I took from that.
And it sounds like they managed to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to maintenance and repairs. Lots of activities, it looks like. Yeah,
and as with, so I believe in, I'm a supporter of government involvement, appropriate funding and so forth, because what that means for a place like Green Ridge House is that they have inspections. Yeah. To make sure things are up to code, make sure things are up to snuff, and frankly, it's what you want for anybody to live in a place, but especially for older people.
Right.
So.
And a cool human interest thing was to see that a mother who had been there since the opening, and now her daughter is old enough and has graduated to life there at Greenridge House.
I know. And the mother in the story, got there in 1979 when it opened.
Yeah.
And so I did the math, and I thought 40 years she's lived there.
Right.
But, so it must be a great place.
I was going to say maybe the Fountain of Youth is in there because she's definitely gotten her longevity, right?
Maybe we should all move there. But anyway, so it's a positive thing. It's government doing what it needs to be doing. It seems to be well managed, and it's an asset to our community.
Mm-hmm. Finally, we have Council Member Rodney Roberts, who's been putting it on the line by joining Jane Fonda and others protesting at the U.S. Capitol about climate change.
Yeah, again, we don't necessarily consider letters to the editor news, but sometimes there's one that touches on a news issue, and I especially like it when somehow Greenbelt or Greenbelt people from Greenbelt, their activities intersect with a national or international topic such as this. So since October, the actress Jane Fonda has moved to DC, and every Friday she's gone and been a part of a protest about climate change, and I think every Friday she's been arrested.
I think
that right?
so.
Or-
And Lily Tomlin, right?
Yes, Rodney mentions her.
Rodney's been arrested.
Yes, Rodney himself. So here, I had to laugh to myself reading a letter from one of our council members talking about riding in the paddy wagon. I thought, should we have known that before the election? I'm kidding. It was. I'm glad. I'm glad that we have Greenbelters and leaders of Greenbelt making an important statement.
Exactly.
So.
And they say the last fire drill Friday in D.C. is Friday, January 10th, this Friday, and he invites Greenbelters to join him. He'll be leaving from the metro station at 10 a.m. Right?
That's right. That would be a great thing. I would love a picture in the Greenbelt News Review of a whole group of Greenbelt residents there. Maybe a selfie with Jane, even. Who knows? Right. But that would be great to see. And anyway, thanks to Rodney for informing us about that.
Great. Well, thanks for bringing us up to speed on events happening in Greenbelt this week.
Pleasure.
"7 Years in Tibet," the original 1956 documentary, follows the adventures of Heinrich Harrer, who escapes a British POW camp and clandestinely enters the Forbidden Kingdom of Tibet, eventually becoming tutor to the Dalai Lama.
I filmed his eldest brother, Lobsang Samten La, enjoying a meal with close friends, something the Dalai Lama could never have. For he lives in another world. He is the manifestation of the God of mercy and must grow up away from all the ordinary things.
7 Years in Tibet. Mornings at 9 a.m., afternoons at 3 p.m., and evenings at 8 p.m. Friday, January 10th through Thursday, January 17th on GATE, Greenbelt Access Television, Fios Channel 19, Comcast Channel 77, and streaming live at greenbeltaccesstv.org.
Hello everybody. This month's Reel and Meal film is the Emmy Award-winning Dawnland at the New Deal Cafe. It's a compelling story about Native American children being torn from their homes.
Would you like to come up to the witness stand?
They went into my home and picked up my children and placed them in a foster home.
This country had official policy to remove Native children from their homes and place them with white families so that they would learn how to be white.
But we're still here. And many of our people have never, ever shared their stories.
Imagine being torn away from your parents and community.
I remember the station wagon pulling up.
I never talked about it in therapy. I played video games.
Maine has become the first state in the nation to form a Truth and Reconciliation Commission focusing on child welfare.
The truth hurts. The truth is very painful.
How come it took so long for you all to get a group together to see if they can help us? You can't heal someone that's gone through hell.
Usually, when a truth commission happens, there's a great deal of unrest in the society that's surrounding it. And here, the dominant culture is largely unaware.
People are saying, no, this is not genocide. Genocide is what happened at Auschwitz.
The reality is, it's been the attack of our culture, it's been the attempt to remove our culture, and you replace it with nothing.
What happened to my aunts, my grandparents and all that? It's still happening.
Tell me about your employment in state child welfare.
The judges didn't figure this was anything we had to do much about.
For the longest time, I was really afraid to even say that I was Indian.
You don't take 500 years of mistrust and wash it away with one commission.
I'm not sure where we're going to be able to gain your trust.
By all intents and purposes, you represent the perpetrator.
White privilege is not something I can get rid of. I think my obligation is to harness it.
Holy Michigan.
I never would have thought the state of Maine would ever engage with the Wabanaki on this level. We see it as something very deep, a necessary transition from being an occupier to being a neighbor.
See Dawnland at the New Deal Cafe on Monday, January 20th at 6:30 p.m. The free screening follows an optional vegan meal. See you there.
Hello and welcome back to the Old Greenbelt Theater. We're joined by Kelly and she's going to tell us what's coming up this week. So Kelly, let us know.
Yeah, Phoebe, we are actually holding over both Little Women and Knives Out. The big news is we're gonna do a little switcheroo.
Nice.
You've had a few weeks to check out Little Women on our big screen, and it's beautiful on our big screen. But we're feeling the need to throw that to the pop-up because we are keeping Knives Out.
Yeah, and it's worth seeing on the big screen.
Totally worth seeing on the big screen. If you haven't seen it with us, we had so many sold-out shows this weekend in the pop-up, which is why we want to kind of give people a chance in the auditorium and also get some bigger crowds in here because I think with the Golden Globes, it's still getting some buzz. It didn't win any of the awards, but, you know, it was nominated in quite a few categories.
Yeah, I heard it was going up in the box office, too. It was one of those that has made a lot of money by staying around for so long.
Yes, and so you and I both saw it. I loved it. I thought it was great, very worth seeing. So again, both movies very, very worth seeing, and we're going to just do a little swap so you have a chance to see it in a different space.
Great. So do you have anything else that you're hoping to get?
Yeah, we, I mean, it's Oscar season. The Golden Globes just happened. So we, it's that movie churning out period. We are hoping to get 1917, which won the Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture. Right. And we're also hoping to get Just Mercy in here pretty soon, which I'm really looking forward to. Brie Larson, Michael B. Jordan, I love them both.
Yeah, I haven't seen the trailer for that one yet, but
yes, Michael B. Jordan plays a young lawyer trying to free a wrongly accused man in the South, and he starts, you know, it's kind of a law firm to start trying to work on incarceration rates in the South.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah, and it stars him and Brie Larson and Jamie Foxx. It's all wonderful. It looks wonderful. So I'm really excited that we're working on those. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you, Phoebe.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.